Hi again, everybody. Another session for test preparation for any exam, any electronic exams in automotive, specifically ASE. Received some emails that people are starting to get the hang of it, and I'm glad to hear that. It just takes practice. Now, as you see over here, question and answer. The computer is the power control module. As you see, there are pins over here. This is the brains of the gang, so to say. Now, as you see over here, if I want to find the PCM fuse, Technician A says, go to pin 19. Technician B says, go to pin 16. Who's right, who's wrong? Look at it. This is one of the fuses that goes to it. PCM ignition fuse. Follow it? These are the numbers on top. 19, pink one. Another one, battery fuse. PCM battery fuse goes to pin. Which one? You guessed it, 20. Now, this schematic is for a 6-cylinder. Technician A says that. Technician B says this schematic is for an 8-cylinder. Who's right, who's wrong? Neither are right. In order to see how many cylinders, you look how many fuel injectors there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-cylinder. If it would be 6-cylinder, there would be 6 fuel injectors. If it would be 8-cylinder, there would be 8 fuel injectors. Which side of it goes to positive? Not this. And which is the control side? By the computer. This is the side, the control side. How do you know? It's going to the pins of the computer. If you remember the other schematic, first you turn on the ignition switch, then you turn on the fuel pump. Obviously, when you turn on the fuel pump, you're turning on the fuel pressure. When you turn on the fuel pressure, you're controlling B+. B+ goes to the top of fuel injectors. That's the top of it. Whenever you see all common connected together, you know somehow it's going to B+, usually. Okay? Now, let's take another example. Technician A says there is no vehicle speed sensor. Technician B says yes, there is a vehicle speed sensor. Who's right, who's wrong? Technician B is correct. Vehicle speed sensor. Which pins, if I want to go to the vehicle speed sensor, which pins do I go to? Right here. 61, 64. So if you have a problem with a specific sensor, I don't get involved with other things, injectors or things like that. If I have a problem, if you put your scan tool on and it says there's a code and it says vehicle speed sensor or anything, I go and I concentrate on this and I find the lines that are responsible for the vehicle speed sensor, 61 and 64. Now, that's the other one. Technician A says there's a knock sensor. Technician B says there is no knock sensor. Well, look around. See? Right here is the knock sensor. 32, 34. Those are the pins. Technician A says these are all outputs to the computer. Fuel tank pressure sensor, a TPS sensor, camshaft sensor. Technician A says these are all outputs from the computer. Technician B says no, these are inputs. Who's right, who's wrong? Technician B is right. These are inputs. Whenever you see sensors connected to the power control module, abbreviated as PCM, these are inputs. These are giving information to the computer, telling it the air-fuel how how wide, how much open the TPS sensor is, the TPS, the throttle body, throttle plate. All these are inputs. Camshaft position sensor, telling it that the camshaft is turning. Oxygen sensors. Technician A says there's only one oxygen sensor. Technician B says no, there's two of them. Who's right, who's wrong? Well, that's right. Two of them. One is a pre-converter oxygen sensor, and the other one is a post one, which usually you have. Which one is responsible for the heater circuit in the oxygen sensor? The line is right here. See the heater element? Right here. The other one goes to ground. Heats it up. From where? B plus on the fuse. It heats it up. That's how you get, during cold starts, that's how you get open loop and closed loop. When you get closed loop, that means you're paying attention to the information, the data that's coming from the oxygen sensor for the air-fuel ratio. And then the computer adjusts it to make sure it's about 14.7 parts air to 1 part fuel. Looking at these when it's warm enough. Next. Technician A says TPS sensor only has 2 connections. Technician B says no, TPS sensor has 3 connections. Of course, Technician B is correct. The middle one is this one. There's another one. And then there's another one. Okay? Now, the one that's giving the information is this one, the middle one, the wiper, they call it. Let's go to another PCM. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it now. Is this a schematic for a 4-cylinder? Is this the schematic for an 8-cylinder? The answer is neither of them are right. This is a schematic for a 6-cylinder. How do I know? Remember, we look at the fuel injectors. It gives us how many cylinders are in each are in the engine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Must be a 6-cylinder. Right? This one must be going to B+. Remember we said when they're all connected together, they must be going to B+. Here they are. Here's B+. See? I want to know B+ of this one. What's the first thing that I do when I have a problem with a PCM? Technician A says, well, measure the throttle position sensor. Technician B says, measure vehicle speed sensor. They're both wrong. Whenever you're working with modules, there's always a B+ going to it. You have to have B+. Therefore, as you see over here, 1 B+ as we discussed before, another one, and another one. You have to have B+, and you have to have a ground. The output of this, the information that is being given to change the air-fuel ratio and all this, goes to a data link connector, which you have that under your dashboard, under your steering wheel. There's a connector to it that lets you hook up a scanner, and it gives you the present data of what's going on, all the information that's going on. Now, throttle position sensor. If I want to find the throttle position sensor, which pins do I go to? 16 and 53. Which is the wiper? This one. The middle one is this one. Pin 63. So, I hope you're getting the hang of it. If I want to find the engine oil level switch, which one do I go to? This one. Is it normally open? Normally closed. It's normally open. If I want to find oxygen sensors, I want to find the heaters. Which pins do I go to? Remember, the heating element is over here. And there's another heating element. As soon as you find one heating element connected to another heating element, like that, that means I know I'm going to B+. This side is going to B+. Sure enough, You trace it, this one, this one, this one, they're both going to be plus. So I hope you're getting the hang of it. Not too involved. I hope you're getting the hang of it. This is schematic for how many cylinders? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cylinder. Okay? Again, I want to find the B plus. This one, this one, this one will give me 12 volts to the proper pins. Okay? Hope you're getting the hang of it. These are all inputs. Whenever you see sensors, vehicle speed sensor, input. What are the outputs? The outputs would be the fuel injectors. It's going to control or toggle the bottom of it, or the other side of the fuel injector, the grounds of it, in order to turn on the fuel injector on and off, based on the conditions from the sensors going to it. If it wants the fuel injector on, correct? We want to put more fuel into the cylinders. This will have to turn this on more. Now, that's that. As you can see, pretty interesting. This schematic over here, as you can see, just take a glimpse at it. Now, I want to turn on the license plate light. Technician A says, you know what? Put on the on position, the switch. Technician B says, put it in the park position. Guess who's right? Technician B. If you look over here and you follow it back, this is the only position that will give you current flowing. When I put it in this position, which bulbs will be lit? Follow it? Technician A says right and left markers, and right and left park turn lights. Technician B says none of them will be lit. Technician A is correct. Come over here. Current goes here. Current then goes over here. Current then goes over here, and current can go over here. All these will be lit. Okay? This is the symbol for a relay. Technician A says the fuse is rated at 20 amps. Technician B says it's rated at 5 amps. Who's right? Who's wrong? Neither. 15 amps is correct. Okay? Hopefully you're getting the hang of it. I've been doing it quite often now. Hopefully you know the fuses, the relays, how they work, the switches, how they work. These will be asked. Switches you have to know, fuses you have to know, relays you have to know, bulbs you have to know, lighting systems you have to know. Hopefully, like I said, it comes automatic now. Anyway, please subscribe to my other channel, Automotive Electronic Schematics by Joseph and Joe Electronic Schematics, and please go over Ohm's Law and transistor circuits. I think you'll find them very informative. Thanks for watching.